So in a nutshell, it was
So in a nutshell,
steroids.
steroids
At him, and
broke at him.
that gave his system the opportunity to fight that inflammation.
I think that that's what happened. I think that ultimately he had a lot of fluid and inflammatory changes occurring in his lung, and we were able to, with the high dose steroids, kind of settle that down. And I think that it's an interesting finding, and I wonder how many more people would benefit from, very high dose steroids, especially people think about it, you're at a place where your lungs seem like they're not going to return from. And, I just think in certain scenarios, we should be researching that more and consider giving it a shot, because at that point you really don't have much to lose.
Right. Yeah.
And, with him in particular, it was important to me that, I walked in that room, I saw a 66-year-old guy who told me he was riding his bike, prior to all this 6 miles a day. And he was very conscious of COVID. He was worried about it, because, the media, that's what they do. They do try to make us, afraid. And I don't know if it's right or wrong what they do, but, I guess sometimes we forget the impact of stress and negativity and how that can affect our health. And I think that we don't pay much attention to that, and we should. And I think that what he did, he tried to get away. He told me he went to a cabin to write, I think he was working on a novel or something, and, to get away from COVID. And then he ultimately got it. And not only did he get it, but he was days away from death, when I met him. And it just an interesting story altogether,
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. And that really kind of dovetails into my next question. You've had opportunities to spend some time with him, and some deeper time than most patients, maybe because of the turnaround that started to happen. But explain the unique relationship you developed with him? Maybe expand on that a little bit, maybe more than just the normal bedside conversations. But I know Dad was really appreciated that relationship piece of it.
Oh, I am too. It's amazing, because I remember at some point, he was worried that I was leaving service, and he was thinking, when you came on to service, everything changed. And I'm not trying to give myself credit or anything, but he felt a positivity and a confidence, and he, started to get better in time. And he was afraid that, I was the sole reason for that. And he was afraid that if I left, because I did an 11-day stretch, and he was worried on day 11 or 12 if things would turn around. And so I gave him my number, and I told him that, look, I'm not going to let that happen, first of all, and you're going to be able to call me at any time. And I just got an iPhone a week ago, which is funny because it literally was a week before I started service. So we were able to FaceTime, and yeah, we developed a relationship. And I remember at some point he said, I know that you probably aren't allowed to. He was worried that I wasn't going to engage, and it didn't matter to me what anybody said. I felt that it was important for me to be there by his side, and even if I was off the clock. And I think that's important. We built a pretty good relationship, and we talk every day now. So he calls me Dr. Bo Schembechler, because he's a huge U of M fan, and I was born and raised in Ann Arbor, and I'm a huge U of M fan. And so I tell him he's Charles Woodson, because he's the most valuable player, and he, it's his confidence and his positivity that got him out of this. I can give 100 people the same medications, but they're not going to all respond the same way. And that's important to consider. That positivity is key.
Well, yeah, I really appreciate it. Obviously, we're eternally grateful for your care and passion for what you do, not only the positivity part of it, but the medicine part of it. You're a part of our family now, Dr. Bo, forever, like it or not. Maybe he'll adopt you as a third son, but I'm still the favorite. But anyway, one last thing I want to leave people with who are watching this or who have interest. What advice would you give to people who are maybe dealing with a relative that has come down with COVID, or dealing with the after effects of COVID, or just any, general advice for battling this in the world we're in today.
Yeah. So, so I think that with COVID, it's important to remember that it's still a viral infection. I know it can have a lot of effects on the body, and there are times when you do have to call it quits. But I think that when you have an overall healthy person who is battling COVID and their lungs are failing on them, to give it time. I think time is very important. I think never lose hope, always keep the faith and stay positive, because we've seen people, and I can't remember exact stories, but I know that people have left other hospitals without any oxygen at all after being on life support for months. And I think that it's easy to say, I think this is the end, let's start, morphine, or let's make you comfortable. It's hard to fight. And I encourage those people to fight and, do the hard thing. It'll be worth it in the end. So.
Well, I appreciate that. We love you. Again, thanks, Dr. Farah, for everything you've done and taking the time today to talk. I know it means the world to my dad, and hopefully somebody can get something from this video. So, yeah, good luck in your future, and we appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks.